everyone. We are at Central Park South and Columbus Circle, so where the camera is angling is Columbus Circle. So I'm going to take you through various spots, some notable spots, certainly not all, in Central Park. It is a beautiful, beautiful day today. You can see people are wearing coats. So, it's probably the same temperature as it is in Toronto right now. I think it's about 15, I think, when we left. It's about 15. So Central Park, of course, is filled with all kinds of sights and places to see and just to hang out on the benches. Do a lot of people watching. So I'm going to go up Central Park West, and then there are some places I hope to show you along Central Park West, and then there's other places that I want to be able to show you on Central Park East. So that's like across the park. So I'm going to show you probably not everything today or in this video, or for Central Park for that matter, but I'm going to show you what I can. So we came from 29th Street and 5th Avenue, which is where we're staying for the month. So it's probably about half an hour walk up to Central Park. And so Central Park takes up a lot of territory. It's in the Upper West Side. It starts at 59th from the south and it goes up to 110th Street between Central Park West and 5th Avenue. So 5th Avenue on the east side and Central Park West to the west, which makes sense. It is a park, as I mentioned. There's 843 acres to be exact. It's New York's giant backyard. Acres and acres, as I mentioned, 843 acres. Central Park is vast, it's majestic, it's picturesque. There's meadows I remember seeing in here in previous visits. There's tranquil ponds. There are some hidden architecture treasures. There's rolling greens, like hills, mounds, where people will hang out and sunbathe and read a book. So nice. So it's just around 1 o'clock, I think. Around 1 o'clock right now. And I'm heading north on Central Park West. It took, in fact, like 20 years to convert the land from swamps and farms into this beautiful retreat for everyone to enjoy. It's always busy here. So I do want to take you to Strawberry Fields. That's a memorial to John Lennon. And I think it's right across from the Dakota, which is the condo unit that he lived in. And I think Yoko Ono still lives there. I'm not 100% sure. And that's going to be, I think, on 72nd, if I'm not mistaken. Now, if I walked straight across here, we're at 64th. If I walk straight across here to 5th, that's where the Central Park Zoo is. I'm not sure if I'm going to hit that today. I may not. I'm not sure. But anyhow, if I do, you'll certainly see it from the walk from the park through the park. I'm at 68th and Central Park West. I just wanted to show you some of these beautiful, very bougie condominiums. Quite gorgeous. There's a doorman there, and as I was walking by, somebody was leaving. He was opening up the door for them. I guess that's what he does. Don't have to open up your own doors when you're coming and going from the building. That's pretty sweet, especially if you have an armful of shopping, groceries. But I guess in those cases, they don't do their own shopping and buy their own groceries. They have people for that. They have staff for that. So the architecture in the buildings are quite gorgeous. And the real estate here is premium. So we're at 70th Street right now. It is a fine day to be out for a walk. It's better to be out walking during the weekday than on the weekend. New York is busy all the time. So we sort of avoid Times Square and some of the main tourist areas if we're getting around, but it's sort of hard to get around the crowds in general because there's so many people. This is a pedestrian city. It's like fabulous. It is a pedestrian city. Everybody walks. There's obviously a lot of vehicle traffic here as well. And we've taken the subway a few times. David seems to be able to figure it out, but figuring out the subway system here, at least for me, I find it a bit intimidating. There's so many different lines, and there's express lines that won't stop at all stops, and yeah. So I would rather just walk to my destinations. We went to Williamsburg last night. We had to take 2 trains to get there. So the first train, I think we went through about 3 stops. And then we caught the next train, which was like a maze to me, getting through the subway system, hallways, passageways. And then that was, I think, around the same amount of stops. So maybe 7 stops in total. Went by quickly. We got to where we needed to get to earlier than necessary. So I think this building right now that I'm aiming at, I think that's the Dakota. I think so. I'm going to check it out. I'll be right back. Yes, I'm just outside of the Dakota on 72nd in Central Park West. This is the entryway. No persons beyond this point. And right through those gates right there, that's where, regrettably, John Lennon lost his life. It is a beautiful, beautiful building. So I think those gates there were put up after John Lennon passed. I could be wrong. I don't think those gates were there at the time of his passing, and they were put up, I think, because of that, just to make sure people didn't get through for nefarious reasons. And I think Strawberry Fields is right on 72nd, which we're at 72nd, so I'm going to have to find it. But before I just close off until I get to Imagine, which is the monument grounded just off of 72nd in Central Park, just want to show you Central Park West looking south. And looking north. Okay guys, we're at the very top of Central Park. So I'm at the very north end of Central Park, right here at 110th Street and Central Park West. I don't know if you can see that street sign. It says Central Park North and West 110th Street. And I'm going to walk parallel to Central Park to hit 5th, because that 5th is the most east side of Central Park. Now I do apologize because I did want to record different hot spots in Central Park, but I did try to find the Alice in Wonderland. There's a little monument there, a little set of art installations, and just off I think 74th or 76th. Anyhow, I tried to go in and find that display, that art installation, but I couldn't find it. And then I thought if I walked any further I might get kind of lost in the park. Not that you can really get lost in the park, but I didn't want to attempt really going out of my way only to not find what I want to show you. So what I've decided to do is turn this video into sort of a perimeter walk of Central Park. So from the very south end of 59th Street, walking on the very west side of Central Park, going up Central Park West to, of course, where I just started again here at, started the video again here at 110th Street in Central Park North. Now I'm walking along 110th Street going eastbound. So David and I, we rode our bikes up here. We rented bikes last week. We had a nice cycle through Central Park. It's lovely cycling through Central Park. So I thought I would take you down 5th because I think we're going to probably come across the Guggenheim Museum. You can see that beautiful structure. And I'll try and point out some of the highlights along 5th. I won't be recording the whole walk down 5th because to walk from 110th Street down to 29th Street where we're living, where we're temporarily living, I think would be maybe a little bit boring for you guys. But I will do other walks like in Midtown, probably perimeter walks. I did do, I think the last time we were in New York, I think I did Times Square and did Washington Square Park. I think I did a couple of videos, so I'll try and attach those or link them below. So where are we at? We're at Central Park North and Adam C. Powell Jr. Boulevard. I've never been up this high. We've never come up this far north. We've come to New York several times, but we've never walked this, or never been this far north. I think the farthest north we've been might have been the Guggenheim when we visited it years ago. So just a fun little note. The first trip David and I ever took together at the beginning of our dating life was to New York City. So this is very sentimental to both of us, New York City. New York can do no wrong. Look at the beautiful architecture. We were in Williamsburg last night. I did do some filming in Williamsburg. But a really kind of fun thing that happened en route to Williamsburg was, as I mentioned, we had to take 2 trains to get to Williamsburg. It was a short ride, but still 2 trains. So on the second train that was going into Brooklyn, so we, got on the train. It was very busy. We had to stand, or very packed, I mean. So we had to stand, and so I looked down, and you kind of automatically look down, see the people sitting. And who did I see but one of the main characters in Just Like That, the Sex and the City, I guess part of the, how do you call it? I guess it would be like part of the Sex and the City series. So one of the main characters, her name in the Just Like That series is Seema, but I think her real name is Sunita Chandra, I think. Anyhow, she was sitting there. Dave and I are looking at each other, and we both mouthed Sex in the City. But actually she was in Just Like That, which to me is the same as the Sex in the City. But anyhow, it was really cool. She was just sitting there minding her own business. Going home, I guess, at the end of the day. But she was reading something, and David thinks, he said it looked like a script. And she just looked like any normal girl on her way home. Home, I suspect she was going home, I don't know. But anyhow, I think she knew that we were... that we knew who she was, because David and I both could have had that look on our face. That look like, is that a celebrity? And I think she knew, but we tried to play it cool, as if, giving her, of course, her privacy and her autonomy. But, I just wanted to say, fangirl! I get really excited by when I see, actors that I like. And I really liked her character in Just Like That. Anyhow, so that was kind of a cool thing. And Williamsburg was really, really a nice community. And one thing I mentioned to David, we both noticed that most of the buildings in the street that we walked down, which was Bedford, are, low rise, maybe 4 stories. There was nothing tall in that neighborhood. And it reminded me of the movies back in the, from the 50s, where there were really no tall buildings, or very few at least. So it felt like I was back in time. It felt like the 50s. Not that I know what that would feel like, but, when you think about movies that you watched from that era, the office buildings were the buildings that we saw yesterday on Bedford Avenue. It was Bedford and what was that major cross street? I can't remember. Anyhow, it was really kind of a neat feeling. And the weather was really nice, and You could see Manhattan from the water, beautiful park area. Yeah, that whole area, as soon as we got off the subway, there was a market, street market going on, probably because it was Columbus Day. Yeah, I thought it was really cool experience. So I think we're ascending upon 5th. At least I hope it's 5th. Anyhow, I will start back up again when I have some iconic building or landmark to show you. Here's one of the many ponds in Central Park. I'm not sure if that's technically a pond, but okay, we are at 5th. But I just want to show you this dog. He's just having the best time. So his mom let him off the leash, and he just ran through here and scared off all the pigeons. Where did he go, the little monkey? Now he's going to the water. I don't know if you can see him. But he just was having the best time chasing all the birds. I don't know if you can see him. Maybe not. Oh, he's just a young'un. He's a poodle of some kind, a poodle mix maybe. Yeah, gorgeous puppy. Okay, we're at 5th. We're at the very north end of Central Park. And 100 years ago, I did a run through New York. It was an organized run, and when we came into Manhattan near the end, so the end of the run was running into Central Park from the top of Central Park. Not that I remember this area at all, but this is where I came and ended my run. I ran through from the top of Central Park to, I think, almost the very south end of Central Park. But we ran through all 5 boroughs. We started in Staten Island, ran across the bridge, anyway, something Narrows Bridge. I'll write that below. Can't seem to ever remember the name of that bridge. And then we ran through all 5 boroughs. So that would have been, I think, Harlem, Bronx, Brooklyn, Queens, and then Manhattan. It's getting a bit cloudy now, but the temperature is good. So now I'm walking down 5th. I'm walking parallel to Central Park on the very west side of 5th Avenue. And one thing I want to point out is, I'm not sure if I'm going to necessarily point them out in my videos, but there is a lot of scaffolding around buildings here in New York, and I don't remember seeing that in previous years. Like, there is a lot. We went to Carnegie Hall. We took a little tour of Carnegie Hall, and there should be a clip of Carnegie Hall in one of my videos of that little tour. But so Carnegie Hall was shrouded in scaffolding as well, and there are so many buildings that you really can't see them because they're hidden behind scaffolding, such as this building here. And you're walking underneath, like a tunnel-like pathway because of all the scaffolding. So we asked the person who was giving the tour at Carnegie Hall, because Carnegie Hall, as I mentioned, is surrounded with scaffolding, and we noticed that there's a lot of buildings that are shrouded in scaffolding. And she said, I guess it happened a while ago, where these buildings are quite old, and what had happened was one of the bricks or stones, or maybe one of the engraved, art displays that are attached to buildings. Anyhow, something fell and killed a person below that was walking, just happened to be walking by. So what has happened, according to her, was so a lot of these buildings have to, every 5 years, apparently it's a new bylaw, I guess, for lack of a better term, where the buildings every 5 years have to be inspected externally to ensure that nothing is loose or might fall and hit somebody. So what's that seemed to have turned into is that it costs money to set up the scaffolding, and I guess they just keep it up there. They just keep it and they don't take it down. So either a new law is being put in place or is already in place where they can only keep up the scaffolding around the buildings for a certain period of time versus what seems to have been happening where they've just kept up the scaffolding indefinitely. So they are putting some practices into play so that we can see the beautiful buildings, because even the Flatiron building, I will show you guys, but it's surrounded in scaffolding as well. So you can't even really, you can see it, but you can't really appreciate its true architectural beauty if it's shrouded in netting and scaffolding. So that is what we've been noticing. Okay, where am I right now? I'm at 106th Street. And Fifth Avenue says here the Museum Mile. So we're going to be coming upon some museums too that I'll point out to you. But there's also supposed to be the Jacqueline Kennedy Onassis park around here somewhere. Anyhow, if I do find it, I will certainly show you. And here are more condos that are shrouded in scaffolding and netting. So there's actually workers now. Often the buildings we come across that have this same look, there's nobody working on them. But these buildings seem to actually have people working on ensuring that the bricks and whatever attachments are intact so they don't fall and hit anybody. Okay, and keep on walking. Now, I think this is part of what is called the Great Lawn. I could be wrong. Not sure. It's between 79th Street and 86th Street. So I'm just going to go back out and see where I am at the moment as I continue walking south on Fifth Ave. I'm trying to locate spots that I wanted to point out, and the Great Lawn is supposed to be just off of 5th between 79th and 86th. And could I be, no, maybe I'm not. Oh no, I'm too far. I'm still too far north. So that wasn't, I don't think, part of the Great Lawn, but it sure was a nice park. I am at 98th Street. So hopefully I will come across the Great Lawn, which is a big, huge park-like area within a park where it's just green. People sit and read their books and sunbathe and have picnics, play games. There's all kinds of activity going on. So I came across the Guggenheim Pavilion, so the Guggenheim Museum, I'm pretty sure is on 5th as well, just further south. So I will show you that, or if something else comes up, between now and then, I will try to be sure to show you as well. Okay, here we are at 90th and 5th Avenue. Now I've just crossed the street from their Central Park. I've just crossed the street to the very west side, or rather the very east side of 5th Ave, because we will be ascending upon the Guggenheim Museum right up here. Here's the Guggenheim. Oh, so I see the name here, Fred Lebo at 89th East. You can see the sign right up there. One of the places I wanted to show you was there is a statue, an art installation of Fred Lebo, and Fred was the initiator of the New York City Marathon. And there's a statue of him apparently in the park near here, he's looking at his watch, which is what runners do. They want to check their time. But anyhow, I guess I'm not going to show you that, but here is the Solomon R. Guggenheim Museum. So I think I mentioned we were in here like 100 years ago. And it's very impressive, the interior, the architecture, very impressive. Yeah, so that's a high point. Okay. Everybody walks against the lights here, folks. I just want to point that out. So you probably will notice in all my videos I'm walking against the lights. So many streets here are one way. So it makes it just makes it really easy to cross against the lights. Everybody does it. And being that we're in New York, we are going to follow that momentum. So scaffolding, you can see I'm walking underneath one of the walkways for the safety of pedestrians down below where we are. So if anything were to fall, it would land ideally on this above platform. So no traffic. No traffic. I'm walking against the light. Now, one of the things that we also noticed in that same vein was that pedestrians will walk also when there are cars coming. They will, not often, but sometimes walk across and a car is coming. And when that happens normally in Toronto, motorists will honk at that pedestrian. But here, there is no honking. There's honking from car to car, but rarely will you see a car honk at a pedestrian, even if they're going and crossing the pathway of a car's right away. So really interesting dynamic here as far as pedestrian traffic, car traffic. It is a jungle here trying to get through all the different veins of laneways and traffic and all the roadways. It's a lot of one-ways, as I mentioned, so you've got to plan your route. Now, this is a street that I wouldn't cross against because it's traffic going in both directions. And as I mentioned, most of the streets that we've come across are one-ways. So there are definitely, two-way traffic in New York, but it seems the one-ways take precedence. So here we are. Where are we right now? 86th Street. Okay, folks, I'm still on Fifth Avenue walking southbound. I just crossed from the very east side of Fifth Avenue to the west side to show you the Metropolitan Museum of Art, the Met, where the Met Gala also takes place. We have been in here, I think, a couple of times. There is just so much to see. You probably know you cannot see this place in one day or even in 1 week. I think it would take months to get through all the exhibits here in the Met. There is so much. It is so beautiful. So this is a popular place, as you can see, where people just hang out, they meet up, they have a meal. Very cool here. Very busy. That is 82nd Street and Fifth Ave. Oh, the sun is out. It is bright and warm. I have to take off a layer, carrying my coat, because it just was getting a little bit too warm. Now, I remember once upon a time the Met used to be closed on Mondays. I don't know if that's still the case. Today is Tuesday. So that's probably one reason why it was open today, and a lot of people out and about in front of the Met. But if you do come to the Met, make sure you ensure that you ensure what the hours and days of operation are. Street art. Very cool. That was a map of Manhattan, and then it was partially painted over by a painting from a local artist. Now these buildings, these condos along Fifth, again, are quite amazing. Some of them, of course, are museums, but there are a lot of condos along here. Cha-ching. And again, Central Park. And a few more facts about Central Park. It takes up 6% of Manhattan's total space. There are 7 bodies of water, 21 playgrounds, 136 acres of woodland, approximately 9,000 benches, approximately 26,000 trees, and approximately 40,000 visitors per year in Central Park. And the sound of New York. The sound of New York. So being that we are located right in Midtown, David and I, we do hear sirens, but you know what the funny thing is? I think we've actually gotten used to it. So it doesn't seem to affect us when we're busy doing other things in the apartment. So it's funny how easily we adapted. But it is New York after all. New York can do no wrong. One of the many playgrounds in Central Park. There's just a bunch of little munchkins here playing. I don't know, hopefully you can see, the camera will pick it up, but it's so sweet. Their kids are running around. Oh, they're racing. Oh my goodness, so cute. So cute. Okay, I just thought I'd point that out because that's just a very endearing sight to see. Thought you'd appreciate that. And again, continuing walking south on 5th, guys. Yes, will I ever end this video? I think what I'm going to do is continue to pick up sites that I think would be good for you to see, and I'll end at our condo. And that is 29th, and I'm at 77th right now. So between my little stops along the way to show you something, I do need to pick up some apples. Oh yeah, this is part of that same playground. This is the cement part of the grass part that we just saw. Okay. There's a wedding party. Big stretch Hummer limousine on 5th Avenue. They're probably taking wedding photos, I bet, in Central Park. Yeah, there's the bridal party. There's the bride. So beautiful they all look. Beautiful day for a wedding, especially taking photos outside. Here is a monument, a memorial for those American citizens in the First World War. The 7th Regiment, New York, 107th United States Infantry, 1917 in memory, 1918. And we are at 67th Street. Here's the zoo, where it says to the zoo. It's in here. I don't know, I've never been to the zoo, but I thought I'd point it out. It's right on 64th Street, East 64th Street and 5th Ave. Yeah, there's signage right down there where it says Central Park Zoo. I don't know if the camera's going to pointers. I don't know if you're going to be able to see that.
Why does JP end so soon?
So here is a sculpture or art installation of General William Sherman. He is just right outside of the Park Plaza Hotel. So let's take a walk. Continue walking south on 5th. And you can see there's scaffolding there around Park Plaza Hotel. That's been there, I think, last time we were in New York. That scaffolding was there as well. Let me see if I'm going to cross actually over here. But that scaffolding has got the Park Plaza New York like imprinted right on the scaffolding, which is kind of too bad because that entryway is really quite beautiful. then just ahead here, just to the south, that is Bergdorf Goodman. I went in there the other day, just because, and the store is absolutely beautiful. The staff treat you like royalty, and the displays and the merchandising within this store is incredible. They have a restaurant, I think, here. Or am I mistaking that for... Oh no, you know what? I went to the flagship Ralph Lauren store on Madison Avenue, and that store, I will tell you, I think it's 3 or 4 stories. It's beautiful. You don't want to take the elevator, you want to take the stairs, because it's sort of central in the store, and it's beautiful just walking up the stairs, and then you can see each floor as you pass along the stairway. It's absolutely gorgeous. And they have a little restaurant in the Ralph Lauren store, and the lineup was incredibly long. I had no intention, of course, of going to the restaurant, but that just goes to show how popular it is. And apparently it's busy like that all the time. So here we are at the very north end of Bergdorf Goodman on 58th. So we have just concluded our walk around Central Park. So we started actually on 59th, on the very west end of Central Park North and Columbus Avenue, and now we are on the very east side of Central Park. So I will pick you up probably at the Condo or outside of the Condo, unless something else sparks my fancy and I just have to show you. I just have to show you Tiffany's. I'm not going to go inside the store, but they have recently renovated the entire store, and there's supposed to be a blue cafe, Tiffany Blue Cafe, I think on the very top floor. I remember Tiffany says it used to be, and I almost don't want to go in and look at the new Tiffany's. Perhaps during this visit here in New York I might step in, but not today. You can see it's definitely a tourist attraction. It always has been. Now, it was one of these 2 windows where Audrey Hepburn, I think it was the corner window actually. Oh, I could be wrong. Maybe it is this window. Where at the beginning of that movie that she was in, Breakfast at Tiffany's, where she, at the beginning scene, I think one of the opening scenes where she gets out of a cab in a beautiful black dress. Her hair is all up. She looks absolutely glamorous, and the cab lets her out right at that corner stop, and she peers into the Tiffany window. Here's Gucci. Yeah, anyhow, so I don't know why they had both of those windows, to stand directly in front of them. It was sort of blocked off. I'm not really sure why that was. Anyhow, this is typical Fifth Avenue, very congested, and I want to get across. So I'm going to stop recording, and I'll pick you up when something else I think you should see. So here I am at, I'm just about to go into the condo, but I just am walking down the street of 29th and Madison. So I'm heading towards the condo. And I'm juggling right now this. Apples and cake. I think that's what I'm going to eat when I get home. An apple and a piece of cake. So 29th is the one-way going westbound, and we're right between Madison Avenue and Fifth Ave. I'm walking on the north side, or sorry, the south side of 29th, walking west. And just across the street is a really cute little church, and this is where we're staying. We're staying at the Anagram. And this is our little apartment. We are up way up on the 25th floor. And I will show you the inside of the condo. I'll show you the rooftop, which is quite beautiful, and the gym is really well equipped. And if the apartment is, if I can get it tidy at any point, I will show you that too. Anyhow, thank you very much for joining me walking the perimeter of Central Park, walking Central Park and Fifth Ave. I'm exhausted, you guys. I'm tired. I can't wait to put my feet up. Anyhow, thanks again. This is Boomer Girl Walking, signing off.